Hello and welcome. This training is intended to provide guidance to New York State VFC providers on selecting vaccine temperature monitoring equipment. All providers receiving publicly funded vaccine must use a calibrated continuous temperature monitoring device, also referred to as a digital data logger or DDL. The DDL must have continuous temperature monitoring capabilities and be recording a temperature reading at least every 30 minutes. The device must have the capability to produce a printed report that indicates continuous logging. The DDL must have a temperature display that is located on the device that can be accessed and checked by staff on a regular basis. The display is required to indicate the current temperature inside of the storage unit and also display the daily minimum and maximum temperatures reached. The device must come with a valid certificate of calibration that confirms it's measuring temperatures accurately. The device must measure temperatures within plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius or plus or minus 1 degree Fahrenheit. The DDL must have an audible high-low alarm for out-of-range temperatures, otherwise known as temperature excursions, and a low battery indicator to make you aware in advance that the device needs a change of battery. The DDL must record continuously with memory storage of at least 1 month of data. Data must be downloaded to keep logs of historical storage unit temperatures. This download should happen at least every 2 weeks to ensure temperature data is not lost when the DDL loops and begins to overwrite old data. These temperature logs must be maintained for a minimum of 3 years, even if you unenroll from the VFC program. VFC providers are also required to have a minimum of 1 backup continuous temperature monitoring device on site for both refrigerator and freezer, or one that is programmable for either a refrigerator or freezer. Backup DDLs must meet all of the same requirements as the primary devices. The backup device is used in case of equipment failure or when calibration testing of the current device has expired. The New York State VFC program recommends the backup temperature monitoring device be stored outside of the storage unit until needed, and the calibration date for the backup device be different than that of the primary. See the temperature monitoring requirements document linked on this slide and on the resources document included with this training for more information on backup DDLs. There are a number of reasons why digital data loggers are a useful tool for VFC providers. Downloaded and saved logs can indicate how often and for how long temperatures may have been out of range. Vaccine manufacturers use this data to determine whether the vaccine is still viable. In cases such as power outages where temperatures would have otherwise been unknown, vaccine can be saved from being discarded, or possibly reduce the likelihood of revaccination if action is taken quickly enough. Data loggers are a wonderful tool to provide early identification of storage unit issues, such as fluctuating temperatures or a malfunctioning storage unit. Since data is being collected continuously, providers can review the data and note any excursions. Keep in mind that the use of data loggers does not replace the daily manual temperature checks that New York State VFC providers are required to perform. Temperatures still need to be checked and recorded by office staff, who will be able to detect patterns or trends that may be indicative of a less obvious problem. Most years, the VFC program supplies all enrolled providers with 2 FridgeTag 2L data loggers free of charge, on a limited basis. Providers who are newly enrolling should inquire with the VFC program to determine if there is an available state-supplied device. VFC providers are not required to use the state-supplied FridgeTag 2L devices if they have a device that meets all of the requirements. Staff should be able to operate and read all digital data loggers in use. Providers are responsible for purchasing digital data loggers if the state supply is not available. Some large practices may require more than 1 refrigerator or freezer for VFC vaccine, and will need to purchase additional DDLs for each one of those units. All VFC providers must purchase backup continuous temperature monitoring devices. Additional information on data loggers can be found on the VFC website linked on this slide under the Data Loggers section. This is also linked on the resource document included with this training. The American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, has developed a data logger and vaccine monitoring guidance document which includes a listing of data logger manufacturers that may aid your practice in selecting a device. The document also includes additional guidance on alert systems. While the New York State VFC program currently contracts with Berlinger USA to provide FridgeTag 2L digital data loggers to eligible providers, it is not required that they be used. Additionally, while Berlinger USA is currently contracted, the New York State VFC program cannot endorse or recommend specific brands or products. However, if you have questions about whether a specific temperature monitoring device meets our current requirements, Give the New York State VFC program a call at 1-800-543-7468 or email nyvfc@health.ny.gov for more information. The simplest type of alert systems are temperature monitoring devices that notify persons that are in the vicinity of the storage units if there is a problem, such as equipment failure or the door was left ajar. These local systems alert staff via a visual or audible alarm on the device, or both. More advanced off-site notification systems are useful after office hours to notify one or more staff persons in the case of a temperature excursion. These systems can be set up with a primary contact as well as backup staff. The contacts may be the vaccine coordinators or the medical director, and would receive a telephone call or other type of notification such as email or text in the event of a temperature excursion. Alert systems may be beneficial for large volume facilities as they're able to alert you to temperature excursions so the situation can be corrected in time to prevent the loss of vaccine. This can be especially helpful during off hours such as weekends or holidays. Include information on temperature monitoring systems in your emergency vaccine management plan. Ensure that the system has current contact information and that the contact staff are aware of and are able to fulfill their responsibilities to activate the emergency plan when needed. The key messages for this training module are: the New York State VFC program requires that providers have a calibrated, continuous temperature monitoring device in each storage unit that holds publicly funded vaccine. Contact the New York State VFC program for more information for the potential of state-supplied devices. VFC providers are also required to have at least one backup continuous temperature monitoring device with a different calibration date than your primary devices. Alarm systems that provide off-site notification may be useful, particularly to practices with large vaccine inventories. As a reminder, manual daily temperature checks are still required, even if you have a data logger or a continuous temperature monitoring system with alarms or off-site notifications. And lastly, DDL temperature logs must be downloaded at least every 2 weeks and anytime an out-of-range temperature is identified, and saved for a minimum of 3 years. Thank you for your participation in this training on selecting temperature monitoring equipment. As always, any questions can be sent to nyvfc@health.ny.gov.